This season of Connecticut Unfiltered is proudly supported by our season partner, The Happy Confection.
This is the voice behind the Reheated Coffee Club, the Instagram page with 50,000+ followers, sharing our state's hidden treasures and the little moments that can make life magical.
If Connecticut's been showing up on your feed lately, that's not an accident. The version your grandparents remember is long gone. This isn't a drive-through state anymore, it's a destination. And on this podcast, we talk to the people making that happen. This is Connecticut Unfiltered. Hi, I'm your host, Ellie Doyle of Reheated Coffee Club, and my first guest is a man so nice, they named him twice, Anthony, former CMO of the state of Connecticut, and now founder and principal of Running Club, one of the biggest slices of the marketing pie that made Connecticut the nation's pizza capital, which we will get into deeply on this podcast.
Promise?
I promise. Winning awards like 40 Under 40 by Hartford Business Journal in 2024 and the Friend of the Industry Award by the Crazies in 2025. He helped turn food into a tourism engine. The pizza campaign pulled in 17 billion impressions, 4,000 plus global stories, a 68% spike in Connecticut pizza searches, and nearly 18% more visitors from New York City, which is big. That's a big ask. He's a dad, he's a husband, he's a friend, and he's just an overall really good person. So we're here to talk about it all. Welcome, Anthony, to Connecticut Unfiltered.
Love it. Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm so excited you're here.
I didn't know half of that stuff was true.
You didn't know you were a dad?
Those are the things I knew that that was the half that I was well aware of.
Before we get started, I have a gift.
A gift?
A gift. I have a gift.
I love Hartford Prince, and Rory does amazing things.
There is a card in there, but you don't have to read it. I hate when people read cards in front of me.
Is this one of those things I should open in front of you?
But you can open it in front of me, but you could save the card for. And gifts is my love language.
Okay.
Like gift giving, which gets a bad rep.
Okay.
Do you know your love language?
Acts of service.
Okay.
So
I'm sure your wife loves that.
So when I wake up in the morning and I get her a cup of coffee in bed, that's my love language.
Does she receive that as her
She
love language?
So yes and no. It's taken years for us to figure these things out. She loves gifts, gift giving,
My
and
girl.
receiving. So yes,
my girl.
It's
it gets a bad rep, but it's more about the thought that goes behind thinking of someone.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Okay, so for those who are listening to the podcast, he's opening up a shirt that says "Gay for Hockey," and this is because we had just finished watching the Stranger Things finale, and we were texting about it, and it was the Will Byers scene where he was giving his big coming out scene, and we were texting about that, and then, with Heated Rivalry coming out, I think Anthony had sent me a text basically being like, is everything
is gay right now.
Gay?
We're in a moment. It's fantastic.
And that was the first time I had ever heard of Heated Rivalry, so...
It's a hell of a show. I'll give credit where credit's due, and I'll also criticize where it's due.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good story, but my gosh, it took me forever to get into it. I almost abandoned it after the second episode. I finally said to my wife, I said, if I wanted to watch softcore porn, I'd watch softcore porn. Where is the story? And it got a story. So.
It got a great story. And you know what? It's the closest I've ever gotten to understanding sports. So,
really?
Yeah.
Really? Are you a huge hockey fan, though?
I love hockey.
Did you watch the USA men's and women's team win gold?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, totally.
Mm-hmm.
You totally
yes,
did.
Yeah, and I was rooting for them to all kiss at the end.
They didn't?
They didn't.
Oh.
So let's get a little bit into you, and let's start with some family life and upbringing.
All right. Tell me. You ask away.
I will. I hate to ask this because I'm sure that this is the probably most asked question in your life.
Let's get the 800-pound gorilla.
Please.
Taken care of.
The name.
The name?
The Anthony. What's the story behind it? Is there anyone else in your family that has the double Anthony name? Do your parents, do they just love that name so much? What's the story?
So much. No, the real story on it, and you can probably tell throughout this conversation, it's a big Greek family. They're all storytellers. Mm-hmm. So the story that was told to me, which at this point in time I don't believe at all, was my grandfather immigrated here from Cyprus in the early 1950s, and his name was Anthony Spiros, and somehow it got changed to Anthony. And so the Greek family tradition, it always gets handed down. You name your son after your father. And so I was named after my grandfather. And I also got his last name, too.
So Spiros turned into Anthony.
Yeah, and that's what I don't think I'll ever get a real story as to why. Like,
we're going to hire a PI.
Yeah,
we're going to do some deep diving into
Was
this.
he fleeing the Greek mafia? Was he trying to change his identity? I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, here we are. They told me it got changed in immigration.
Okay.
Which is, it's possible. That's a pretty common story, but Anthony, like that.
Was there ever a thought in your head that you wanted to pass down the Anthony to your son?
Fuck no. I had to break that dam with the F word. I'm sure more will come.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, we could do a communal fuck on 3 if you feel that. Okay,
sure,
ready?
let's
just get it out there.
One,
2,
two,
3.
three,
Fuck. Okay.
Okay, good.
All right, we feel good? Okay,
Good.
we feel good about it.
Good.
That was like that trend where you leave your kid in the bathroom and let them say every swear word. Oh my God. You saw the video of my 6-year-old doing
yes, it's
when she was
amazing.
4, she went crazy. I think she was 4 when we did it. We let her stay in the bathroom. We're like, you can let everything out. But once you come out of this bathroom, you can't say it anymore. We thought we would maybe get like a shit or something. Our 4-year-old looked in the mirror and she was like, fuck.
It's the best.
Fuck. Toothbrush. I was like, what? What is this
Words that you would
gremlin?
never,
Oh
ever
my
expect
gosh.
coming together.
All right. I digress. Anyway, okay, well, there you have it. For people who are wondering, Greek tradition, passed down, fleeing from the mafia, Anthony.
That's what we're going to roll with
That's
today.
what we're going to roll with. And there might be more to the story, but that'll be for another podcast.
Yeah.
All right, siblings.
Siblings.
Big family?
Big family. Big Greek family.
That's must be fun for holidays.
Fun and unnerving. There's a lot of trauma there. A lot of trauma.
We love family trauma.
Oh, yes, very much so. I'm the oldest of 4. I have 3 younger sisters.
I knew you had sisters.
Yes.
I knew you had sisters.
So I have 2 twin sisters who are younger, Alex and Sophia.
Love that.
And Shelby is 10 years younger. She is my stepsister, but at this point, I'd never see her anything other than sister. Mm-hmm. Raised by a single father. And so, had aunts and grandmothers and raised by a lot of women. So when I have a daughter, Isabel, who's 7, and my son, Julian, who's 4.
And they're amazing. I got to meet them at a place. They're the nicest kids ever.
Well, I mean, back at you.
For sure.
When we found out that Julian was going to be a boy, I was super disappointed. I wanted another little girl. I was like, I don't know how to raise a boy. Like, Kara was like, you're a guy. How do you not know? It's like, I'm a male raised by women. Like, I just don't.
Which is interesting because you were raised by a single dad.
Yeah. Well, I'd say he had to work, and there was a lot of other women around. So.
Sure. So may I ask why the single dad?
Yeah. So this is an interesting story, and a lot of people are pretty surprised by it. So. When I was, how old was I? I was almost 11. It was a week before my 11th birthday. My mom got up and just dipped in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Never came back.
No note?
She left a note to the dad, not to us. We kind of like casually saw her over the course of the next year. And without getting too much into a sob story, she was with a guy who made us all very uncomfortable, my sisters and I. And so I had to say to her, I said, we want to see you. We don't want to see this guy. And she was like, okay, well, then you're not going to see me, and have not seen or spoken to her since.
That's so hard.
It was you know what? It was terrible. I mean, you talk about trauma, there's trauma there. But what I will say is that it has most certainly set me up for the rest of my life. Sometimes you got to do the hard thing. And also, though, you have to look out for the people around you that you love. And my dad has very much so shaped the person I am today.
It's amazing that your dad really stepped up and was like,
It's crazy.
I have to be mom and dad right now.
Very, very much so. He didn't have to do it that way, and he did it. And I give him huge, huge kudos for it. And he did the best that he absolutely could. You know it. being a parent. Like, you're not perfect.
No.
But you also recognize that you have these little people that look at you in a way, and you got to make sure that you live up to it as much as you can, and you also show vulnerability that you aren't perfect.
Isn't it crazy that as we grow up, we then look at our parents as like real people and not as these like invincible superheroes, and we're like, wow, what they were going through when we were young, and like you see it in a different light. Like I even look at my parents now, and I'm like, totally different perspective than when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a lot of forgiveness.
Sure.
It's like, oh my gosh, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you gotten in touch with her as an adult?
No,
Is there
I
any
have
relationships?
not. No, nothing.
Okay.
I think there was the closest that anything had ever happened. She had messaged me through Facebook after about 15 years of not being around. And then we went a little back and forth, like very surface level. Hello, how are you?
Right.
What are you up to? And she was off her fucking rocker. And so I was like, okay, I don't need to broach this. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I mean, that doesn't mean that my sisters might not want to pursue that at some point.
Sure.
But for me, like, that is a door I don't need opened.
Sure. It's shaped you into being an incredible dad and an incredible person.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about growing up a little bit. So you weren't born in Connecticut.
I am not from Connecticut. I'm originally from Northern Virginia.
Okay.
Spent a lot of my time going between there and suburban Maryland, right outside of D.C., just the other side of the Beltway. Any D.C. folks out there, you know the Beltway?
Yeah. I have family there. Yeah.
You know the Beltway then.
Yeah.
So my grandparents were in Maryland, so we kind of like went back and forth a lot. But I tell you what, if you'd have told me about 5.5 years ago, I'd be here sitting with you today in Connecticut, talking about all things Connecticut in addition to my life.
Running a business in Connecticut?
Yeah, I would tell you you're crazy.
I know. So how did you vacation in Connecticut? How did you start coming to Connecticut?
I had never stopped in Connecticut prior to living here. I had only driven through like everybody else, drive-through state.
Well, here you are. How did you first come here?
So the drive-throughs were always, I was living in New York. My wife, then girlfriend, she grew up in Massachusetts, so we'd go back and forth and visit her parents and go up to Maine where they live in the summer. So we'd just drive right through. And I always thought that this entire state was all Fairfield County, and it is anything but. Yeah, I mean, it's such an incredible place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so you would drive through with your wife, and then what was the first thing that made you like kind of stop and look around and then be like, oh, wait, oh, shit, maybe we go to a restaurant here, maybe we
A job
have a date
offer?
here. A job offer. And were you seeking it, or did they seek you?
It was a little bit of both, I will say. So, longest possible story short.
Okay.
And this is how we get to today.
Okay.
2016 rolls around. Current President Trump got elected.
Boo.
Yeah, utterly just disappointed and shook by it. And my background, at the time I was living in New York, working as a creative director at a brand comms agency. And it's like, my background's in government. I want to take my skills that I've developed here and apply it back to government because I don't like what's happening. Mm-hmm. And President Obama in his farewell address said, if you don't like what's happening, go out there, lace up your shoes, go organize, and go make it happen. That's the point of democracy. So I took it to heart, and I left my job, got, slowly but surely got into politics. So we ended up in D.C. I worked on the Hill for about 6 months. This is the worst job I've ever had in my life. Awful. Left. Was doing consulting and doing a documentary series, writing, producing, and directing. And the pandemic hit. All the consulting, all the documentary just went away. So I jump on this DC council campaign. We got the young person I was working with. She got elected, made history. First woman to ever hold that seat, and the youngest person ever.
Woo!
To be on the DC council was really cool. And the next thing you know, I'm talking to the First Lady of Connecticut because the young woman that I worked with, who is now a council member running for Congress, she grew up in Connecticut, and went to school with Governor Lamont's daughters. So it's just, you just never know the
so
world.
True. It's just so crazy how those things happen. It's like and that's what I've noticed about being in Connecticut too. I've never experienced networking like how it is here, that you almost like don't ever want to really say no to opportunities to be in the room.
You do not. I mean, and I would give that to anybody, anywhere they're at. Like
advice. It's advice for anyone.
Yes. You say yes to every conversation. Doesn't mean you actually have to say yes to the opportunity.
Right.
But you just never know. Yeah, exactly.
The amount of people I have met, I mean, the pizza trail alone, that's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where we first really got to start talking was that the first night.
Oh yeah, we were at the upstairs. Oh yes, I forgot about that.
There was like 8 people there.
Yeah, we were all
Most
just
people
sitting
didn't
around
go
the table.
There. Yeah.
No.
I could have very easily just like stayed in that night,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to. 3 kids, multiple jobs. I was like, I don't feel like
I'm gonna go to sleep. Yeah, I need to get some rest.
But I was like, you know what? I was invited to this, and I should go and show face for a little bit. And that's how we met. And because there was so little people, we had the opportunity to talk and like really meet and have a conversation, and an opportunity that like there was so many people the rest of the weekend, so much going on. We probably wouldn't have had that time to really like talk and connect.
It's true. I totally forgot about that, just to be very honest.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to say the second night when we were at Nolo, we were
Oh my God, I was so drunk.
Yeah, it happens.
I was so drunk. I just remember being like, I love Connecticut. And I remember you being like, do you need my job? I was like, I don't know. I just love it here.
But I don't remember you being that under the influence, because you were talking pretty sure. It was you, me, and Arda. We were talking specifically about our love of Connecticut.
No, I wasn't that hammered. But I was, the first night I was like very just like business. The second night we had been like eating, drinking all day. At that point it was like the after party, and I was just like, I was honestly more tired than under the influence. But we were like ripping shots at that point. Like we were taking like tequila shots, and I was just like, I just remember looking at you and being like, I just love it here. And I remember telling you too, I was like, I loved that I was surrounded by men who are not intimidated by women with a strong voice. Because in the field that I had been working in Florida, that you almost felt like you had to be smaller to be accepted in the marketing world, and that it was like embraced and accepted. And then you were just like, hell yeah, like we love it.
It's so strange to me. It's like it's foreign. But
yeah.
Then again, Connecticut and Florida, almost different countries.
100%. So now fast forward, you are CMO of the state of Connecticut. Did you ever feel like you were responsible for like convincing people that Connecticut was like very cool?
No, I never felt like I was responsible for making the world see Connecticut as cool. Actually, really, let's flip it on its head.
Okay.
I always wanted to make sure that Connecticut knew it was cool. It's a culture shift. That's all we really needed to do. And it's been there. It's always existed. It's just a matter of how do we raise that bar a little bit.
Exactly. So then here comes in the pizza, New York, food war era. Are you so sick of talking about pizza yet?
Yes, and I wish I could say I was tired of eating it, but I don't think I'll ever.
I don't know if anyone will ever get sick of eating pizza.
No.
What does Julian say? Like, you work for pizza?
Oh yeah. Both of my kids think I work for pizza.
I mean, you kind of do.
Yes.
So Avitz has been around since the 1920s. Why is Connecticut just now becoming the nation's pizza capital?
Because Connecticut has, I guess the nicest way to say it is it's just part of the New England personality is you don't beat your chest. And I it's kind of the opposite. It's not that I beat my chest, but if you don't tell your story, nobody else will. So we started to tell our story.
It's funny that you said that, because I was actually having a conversation with my publicist recently that like the way she was raised was like, be modest, be like, keep it to yourself, like be humble. And like, you know, the way that I was raised in Miami was like, be loud, be flashy, be showy. And it's such a different culture shock. And like, so that's very makes sense to me. Like Connecticut is like, don't beat your chest, or like another way of saying it is, but it's like, how else will people know about you?
Yeah, well, it's funny. So when the first thing that really started to get people's attention was September of 24. We put highway signs up on the border of New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, and those signs were intentionally provocative.
Yeah.
New York border said Connecticut's the pizza capital. The Massachusetts border says that Connecticut is the basketball capital. And Rhode Island said two different things, submarine capital and foodie capital.
Mm-hmm.
When we did the press conference, the governor said that I was the most modest man in Connecticut, and he was going to put a sign up on my front lawn that I am the most modest person in Connecticut. So very, you could sense that maybe not super happy. And then one of the headlines of the stories says, big signs for an immodest state. Thank you, Mark Pazniokis. And it's true. It was, there was nothing modest about it, but we needed to shake the system. It was just like, come on, guys, if we're going to be part of the national conversation, we have to lead it. We can't just be people driving through. We have to capture their attention to get them to stop.
Do you almost feel like it worked so well because it was such a loud statement for such a modest state?
I think it was part of it. I also think that part of it wasn't just the signs. It wasn't just, pizza capital trails and billboards in New York. We were in on the joke. It's like it's usually, a self-effacing sense of humor, I think, goes a long way.
Sure.
And it was never like, we're better than you. It was always like, yeah, we're better than you, like elbow, like cheeky type. So we had fun with it.
Are you worried that now that you're not at the state, that there won't be voices in power like loud enough and risky enough to keep that kind of momentum going?
I think the team who has taken over, Morgan Nyrick, is she's leading the team.
Yeah.
The reason Morgan is leading the team is because she has that talent.
Yeah.
She has that excitement. She has that level of care and strategic thinking.
Yeah.
Like the success that we had, it was less about me, and I think it was more about the fact that we had a bunch of brilliant people, and I was willing to push it really hard.
Do you feel like they'll still keep pushing things like that?
Yeah, I have all the confidence that Morgan is going to lead that charge.
Amazing. Yeah, I was just at a conference where her and Rachel were both speaking on Friday, and they seem very passionate about keeping tourism and marketing and all the things alive and well, and they seem to have some big ideas, so really excited for
Yeah, I have no doubt that. I think Morgan sees the big picture. It's not about tourism and the like, hey, let's get families from across the country to come visit Connecticut. Sure, that's part of it.
Right.
It's also part of showing people that this is a fantastic place to raise a family and live, and it's a wonderful place to set up a business, to grow your career, to be part of something much bigger than yourself. And I think that firmly understood in that office. It's just a matter of how do they say that and show the world in a way that's not not typical.
One thing I really want my page to focus on, one thing I've been astounded with recently is the arts community here, how many plays there are and how it's like Broadway style. I mean, you and I both were a guest in that Gutenberg play, and there's no reason that play should have been anything but packed. Those actors, their vocals, the play itself was Broadway.
It was on Broadway.
It was yes, the play itself was, but they were incredible. And I think that Connecticut needs to be a destination where people are driving to see their plays.
I mean,
the Counter at Theater Works in Hartford, if you have a chance to go see it.
Yeah. Really
amazing.
Good. Really good. Yeah. Have you been to the Goodspeed yet?
No.
You have to go to the Goodspeed. So the Goodspeed is this beautiful old opera house right on the Connecticut River. And not only is it just a stunning place and they do fantastic originally produced shows, it's a whole campus. Most people don't know this. I think it's like 35, 40 buildings within this town, all part of their campus. Actors live there. They have all of their costumes designed. They actually have one of the biggest warehouses of costumes. So like when a big Broadway show doesn't need their costumes anymore, they ship them there. And people,
that's crazy.
And they loan them out to other productions. They loan them out to Hollywood.
Wow, it's like the Olympic Village, but for acting.
It totally is. They make all of their own set pieces there. They have a huge manufacturing facility.
How is the art scene not part of like the Connecticut's pillars?
We just don't tell our story.
It's gonna be told here.
Yes, it really does need to be told.
Going back to like the pizza marketing plan, did you get pushback from the state of Connecticut? Or was the whole team? Were they all for it? Did you really have to like try for it, or were they like, this isn't going to work?
So I'll let the cat out of the bag. No, we didn't get pushback because I never once asked for permission.
Better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yes, absolutely. So 2 things happened. One, I think the highway signs showed people that they could trust me.
Yeah.
Even though like that was basically 3 of us who just did it without asking for permission.
Which like not asking for permission with something in a government office is like, you got to have some cojones.
Yes. Yes, we definitely
you almost ended up on like a no-fly list.
Oh, yeah. We definitely took a huge chance, a huge risk there. But then afterwards, so like with the signs, for example, my boss, Dan O'Keefe, commissioner of DECD, when he saw that we were putting up these signs, he was like, do you have any data to back up these claims? It's like, no. Why do we need data? We just claim it. It's not like
data. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, just say it and just keep saying it and give meaning to it and show people and let them experience it, and then it'll become its own thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. That's why we did a whole pizza trail, which you were part of. That's why...
It was so fun. It was like summer camp. We were all like...
That's exactly what it was.
It was summer camp for adults.
When it was over, I was so disappointed. I felt like a part of me was
The only
missing.
thing we needed was we needed to all rent a house and stay in it together.
Yes, that would be ridiculous.
We would have never slept. It was nice. It was kind of nice that we all went back to our hotel rooms.
Yeah, also, I don't think any of us, like, after 2 days of eating pizza, like, we all just wanted to just lay in bed and just sleep.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
It was awful in that way.
I mean,
I didn't eat pizza for weeks after that.
No, same.
Yeah.
Same. See, I mean, to be fair, it was all different types of pizza with all different types of toppings, so it wasn't like the same thing all the time.
No, it was all different, and it was just, I'm pretty certain after the last year and a half, my body has become gluten intolerant. I just cannot eat copious amounts of pizza anymore.
Yeah. That was a really fun press tour.
No,
and
that
kind of like kicked off my like career too. So I have a big...
I don't know. I had known who you were well before the pizza tour.
But like as
you were
far
on the
as,
news, like you had done work with Ellen in our office. Like,
sure, I had done like a little bit of stuff, but like as far as like career moves, like it opened a lot of doors for me, and it also like kind of gave me the confidence to be like, I can make a career out of this. I can do this. Like I kind of know the path I want to go, where it's not just like reviews, it's more like storytelling, and like I'm good at this kind of thing.
You are. It's like you can sense that when you have a conversation with you. And I'm glad that type of experience, not only did you get that sense of community, but you also were like, oh, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, it was very much like we can do this. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to fill up our coffees instead of reheating them, and we will be right back. If you're someone who cares about supporting local farms, you should check out Pink Tractor Crew. They're passionate about connecting people with Connecticut agriculture, whether that's finding fresh dairy delivered right to your door or tracking down maple syrup straight from the tap. It's all about supporting local farmers and making fresh food more accessible. You can explore their resources at stantonsbm.com. You know how edibles can feel a little intimidating if you're not exactly sure where to start? That's actually why I love The Happy Confection. A Connecticut brand based in Westbrook, they've made edibles really approachable by creating ratio-based cannabis gummies. So instead of everything hitting the same way, the experience is dialed in depending on what you're looking for, whether that's relaxing or feeling creative or just unwinding at the end of a day. There's even options for medical card patients looking for higher potencies. Everything is chef-crafted with organic ingredients, vegan, gluten-free, and made with strain-specific terpenes, so you get a consistent experience without that bitter aftertaste that a lot of gummies can have. They're also queer-owned, women-owned, and family-run, and you can find them in over 60 dispensaries across Connecticut. You can find the closest one nearest to you at thehappyconfection.com, and don't forget to sign up for their email lists where you can find out about product launches and deals going on near you. They're called The Happy Confection, and it's cannabis crafted for joy. Looking for insurance is honestly so stressful. Every year when I have to deal with it, I feel like I need a spa day after. And that's why I love Keating Agency Insurance in West Hartford. They're a third-generation family business with a real people-first mantra. They do the hard part for you, shopping multiple companies to find the best coverage. They handle home, auto, business, life, and even umbrella policies, and can bundle things to save you money. So instead of spiraling online comparing policies, just call Keating and let them handle it. Well, welcome back. We have a nice new hot cup of coffee.
Yes, we do.
He likes it black like his soul.
It is icy and black.
So when we left, we were talking a bit about Pizza Nation Capital. So with that being such a success, and now that you are branching out to your own company, and which we will get into that in a moment, but are you worried that now kind of like how actors get typecasted into a role, are you a little bit worried that you will now get kind of typecasted into that kind of pizza role with future clients?
No. In fact, the last month since I have been out of my my role as a public servant, there has not been a single offer from the pizza world, which is fantastic.
That surprises me immensely because I feel like you are so tied to this nation's pizza capital title.
I'm glad. So don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore pizza. I'm glad we were able to accomplish what we were able to accomplish. I'm glad that this industry of restaurateurs and pizza makers, which is 97% small businesses, I'm glad we were able to elevate them.
Yeah.
But it was never about pizza.
Right,
It was
of course.
never about pizza. Pizza was the vehicle to elevate Connecticut.
Right. It's almost like a metaphor.
Yes. Oh, tell me. All right. Give me more.
Well, it's almost like the pizza is the community. You know, pizza is so much more than just bread, dough, sauce,
and
cheese.
It's a vehicle for delivery.
Sure.
It's a vehicle for community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's story,
But-
it's history.
But one big but here. I like big butts, and I can't know.
You will not lie.
The big but here is that any pizza can be a personal pizza if you're hungry enough.
Mic drop. Is that the all right podcast over? That was the final line.
Yep.
He can market anything. Running club. So now we're at this point where you've made your decision to leave, and this title, everybody knows you as the CMO of Connecticut, and you're so good at this role, and it's kind of like your identity with the state. I mean, not your personal identity, but
It all merges. It all
Yeah.
merges together. It's
Sure.
it's like an actor who's method acting, and they end up becoming the role.
exactly. And it's hard to picture Connecticut without like Anthony. Was there a moment that you knew that you were done before you left?
It's a really good question. I don't think it was ever a single moment. I think there were several small moments that just added up. The one that I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. We put out a survey into the field. It was a nationwide brand survey. Hadn't done it quite like this since 2021. And when we were starting to get preliminary data back, it was all looking very positive. And then we got the final data back, and we realized that it was night and day difference. So like some of the top words in 2021 that people were using to describe Connecticut: small, cold, boring, and expensive. And now when the words were cultural, food, welcoming, progressive, I mean, it's night and day.
Love that.
Night and day. And don't get me wrong, are we a small state? Yes. Is the cost of living higher than some places? Some, but not all. I grew up in D.C. and then lived in New York for a decade, so Connecticut is the cheapest place I've ever lived.
Yeah.
Is it cold here? Yeah, but that's not going to change.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on the negative, we changed the narrative by getting the positive out there.
Yeah.
And so that was the moment. I mean, really, when I took over this role in 2023, my mission was to change perceptions of Connecticut. It's not my mission. That was what was bestowed upon me as my job. So I was like,
So you
okay.
felt like my work here is done.
Yes.
Like there was nothing else to do for you?
I think that was the cherry on top of the sundae. It was
Gotcha.
like, okay, go out on top.
Gotcha. So were you interviewing for other positions, or did you always know that you wanted to work for yourself?
It took me a little bit of time to get to that point of realizing, okay, I'm going to go do this for myself.
Yeah. It's scary,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you have other like little mouths to feed.
Yeah, very much so.
You must have the world's most supportive wife. I have to say that.
She is. She is wildly supportive. She puts up with a lot of shit, and she can give it too.
And I know
so-
that you guys have a good relationship. You know how I know that? One of the first times that we hung out or I met you, I was in a rush and I had, like, my makeup was not, like, well blended. And you came up to me and you were just like, your highlighter, you have to, like, blend it a bit. And I was like, no straight man who does not have a good relationship with his wife. Like, his wife has trained him so well that, like, they get ready in the same bathroom together. Like, he knows enough about, like, her makeup routine. And, like, they are such good partners that he knows when, like, her makeup's not blended. And I was like, they have a good partnership.
Yes. Thank you. Well, thank you for saying this, and I'd like to think so.
Yeah. So sorry, go on.
No, you're
so
good.
Yes, going off on your own is scary.
Yeah, she's super supportive. The people who I think are most surprised are the kids. They're like, Daddy, you're not working for the governor anymore?
You're not working for pizza anymore?
Yeah, you're not working for pizza anymore? They're like, are we not going to go to that big castle anymore, the Capitol?
Oh,
and I'm like, I don't think so, sweetie. I'm sorry. And she's like, well, I have to ask the governor if he'll vote for me for president. Which he said.
I'll vote for you.
So I took her with me one day to the Capitol. We went
also, sweetie, like, you don't want to be president.
She does. She so badly she wants to be president.
She would do a better job than our current president. Like, as if she was president right now.
Well, she's going to have a supportive group of people behind her to help her get there. I will say that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
She so I take her to the office. She wanted to see the governor. So I took her with me, and he was actually outside of his office walking around. And she walks up to him and she goes, Governor, will you vote for me for president?
I love her.
And
I love a queen who knows what she wants.
Yes. I mean, I'm so proud as a parent to see my daughter vocalizing what it is she wants and asking for it, because nobody's going to give you. My stepmom always said this, and I think it explains everything. If you're not going to GET if you don't ASK. It's true.
Preach.
It's true. It's so true.
Preach.
So she goes up and she asks him, and he had a great answer. He said to her, you asked for the vote. Of course I'm going to vote for you.
Amazing.
I was like, great answer, Gov. Great answer. I think that's probably the hardest part for the family. Mm-hmm. But so far it's been really interesting. I'm learning a ton. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of energy. I've gotten a bunch of calls. I have been on a lot of calls and had a lot of meetings, but I'm also learning quickly that all that energy doesn't necessarily mean movement. There's a lot, to use a metaphor here, there's a lot of wheel spinning, but not necessarily forward motion. And the fact that I'm spending a lot of time and energy having conversations, putting out proposals, giving people a sense of what it is I offer and how we're going to do it. And so what I'm learning quickly is that, some people just don't realize how much these things cost.
Sure.
And so that's part of the lack of forward
Spend money
motion.
to make money.
Yeah. And then there's also, like, I'm learning a new skill of I've got to close the deal.
Yeah.
And so, like, there are some people who see these things in front of them and they're just, like, taking their time. And it's like, okay, I need to figure out how to
Literally why I hired a
sign
publicist.
on the dotted line. Yeah.
I realized that I was absolute shit at it. Like,
and you have a great publicist, by the way.
I give away the house, my bleeding heart. I realized that I would just work for free. And
I'll tell a quick story for everybody. I made a connection between you and your publicist, who shall not be named for the sake of anonymity, to somebody very important, and so that way they could come onto the podcast.
Yeah.
And your publicist wrote the most badass email back.
She's a force. She's so good.
She jumped in, took over, was like basically just like led this conversation. I'm like, oh, be still, my heart.
I know.
This
no,
is
she's so
awesome
good.
to see.
And she's so the opposite of me. She's so the opposite of me. We were sharing a story. We were talking here that, like, we were at, like, a networking event, and I'm such, like, an inappropriate person. Like, I don't know why my brain works that way. And my first thing when somebody came to introduce
this story's
me and my publicist, they came in and they were like, oh, how do you guys know each other? And this is at, like a networking event. I just go, what is it? The gangbang? And my publicist's face just goes beet red. And this is literally like...
You texted me. You were like, I said this.
I was like...
Yeah, maybe don't say that next time.
I was like, why am I the way that I am?
You clearly have a love of pop culture. And so like those pop culture
Yes,
things
you know
just
what? I
out.
think that you're right. I think that you're right. I think it's like you know those like vocal stims or like tics, like
Yes.
those things. Yeah.
I mean, so I told you the story earlier. Grew up with a single dad, but also when my mom was around, she was not overly present. I basically was raised with television
Yes.
and
yeah.
movies. So my response mentally would also be, the answer to that question, the gangbang, because it's like I'm thinking of
Was it like
old
Superbad or old school? Yeah.
Old school.
Yes.
But also, like at this point, I've also trained myself to not do that.
I need like I feel like if I get bigger, if I end up like on like a TV show or something, I'm gonna need like a PR team or like media training. Need like media training. This is Connecticut Unfiltered though. We don't do media training. I want the unfiltered here.
That was a fantastic moment. That was a made-for-TV moment.
The other one, I was at like a nonprofit event like for kids, like for underfunded like school children.
Where is this going? This is getting. Oh, where is this going? I'm just gonna pause and listen.
I had a purse on and it had a bag chain with like cherries on it. Like so it had like the cherries and this like sweet old lady was like, "I love your bag chain. I love the cherries." And I'm like, "Are they cherries or are they bag balls?" And she just was like, "Oh." And I just walked away.
Oh my God.
And it was just like very quiet and I was just like, "So, running club." But is this the first time you've gone off on your own as like a?
This is the first time I've ever established anything formal like this. So when I left my previous private sector job, the agency I was at in 2016, and ended up in politics and public service, I freelanced. But that was like, I was just going to go do the occasional gig for these, this small network of agencies that I knew. It wasn't quite at this level.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And so now today you've started Running Club. So talk to me about the name, what it means, how you came to it.
So Running Club is reputation management, brand development, and growth strategy. Really, like I don't want to get into the day-to-day graphic design and video making and things like that. Can I do that? Yeah, I can do that, and I'll bring in partners who can absolutely do that.
Okay.
Really what I do well is that big picture thinking. It's not just ideas coming out of nowhere. It's the why. I think so much that question doesn't get answered. And it's just pretty pictures and cool stories for the sake of beauty and coolness.
Yeah.
And it has to have purpose.
Sure.
And that's really what brand is. I think people think of brands as just logos and fonts and whatnot. It's strategy. It's identity. And if you're not living your identity, there's this disconnect and people understand that. And it creates a huge problem for whatever it is you're selling, whether it's product or service.
Absolutely.
So creating that type of alignment, I hate business jargon, but alignment, and living those values.
Yeah. I mean, when I was at Reputation Made and I went to your breakout session, your whole thing with archetypes, it was
branding.
It was super impactful. It seems like that's very similar to what you're doing on a big level.
Yes, exactly. So what Ellie is referencing here are the 12 brand archetypes.
Yeah.
And we use those 12 brand archetypes to help figure out what the brand of identity of the state of Connecticut was. So when I came in 2023, the first big project we did was a rebrand of the state and wanted to make sure that the state wasn't just, we weren't just about geography or places in the state. It was an identity. It was a characteristic, like it was a person. And so people could see themselves in it and identify with it and also appreciate it.
Yeah.
So that's part of the thinking behind Running Club, the name itself. Am I a runner? Yes, I am a runner. But it's not really about that. It's about the moves that become momentum, which can transform into a movement. Very similar to what we did with the state.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we rebranded. That's just a move. Yes, we went out and put up highway signs. That's a move that turned into momentum. It turned into a movement over time because people started to get involved. This became the public's. It wasn't about us. It was about everybody else entering the conversation and taking ownership over it.
Yeah.
And so that sense of movement, but then also the club piece, it's that sense of togetherness. You
Community.
Yes, you cannot create movements without community.
Sure.
It's about having
Like you're
more.
running towards something too. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to get somewhere.
And that's why, as you see here, our logo mark, it's the delta symbol, which represents change, and a circle, which is the community.
Yeah. Anthony brought me some stickers forward.
This is my first
Did you
merch.
design the
So
logo?
I designed the logo. I'm a very bad graphic designer,
You're
but it's
not.
simple.
Listen, the best logos are simple, easily digestible, something that you'll remember.
That's true. And our tagline is forward or nothing.
I love it. And I love your LinkedIn bio. What is it? Like
I don't remember
something
at
for
this point.
kick-ass brands or
Okay, yeah, I felt
Yeah.
I figured I should do something that's a little different.
yeah,
than
like
a-
stands out. Yeah, check them out on LinkedIn. What are some dream clients that you would love to work with? That you would love to, and it's not necessarily that you think that they need like a rebranding, but just people that you were like, I would love to be in a room with them.
There's a few different that I can think of, and it's mainly because of there's different aspects, and this goes back to my principles, not just personal, but for the business. One, I think there are some brands out there that are not afraid to take big swings.
Yeah.
And so, like, for example, Nike. I would love to work with Nike because they're not afraid to be courageous and stand behind it. So, like, a few years back, I think it was pre-pandemic, Colin Kaepernick was already out of football for a couple of years, basically been blackballed by the league. They made him the face of their campaign. And they did it in a way that reinforced why he was doing what he was doing. And then they changed their entire campaigns, multiple campaigns that are already planned for ages. They integrated it with that one. I don't know what their market share did after that, but they believed in it and they took the swing and they stood behind it. I thought that was fantastic. Some of the other ones, I mean, they like also just where there's alignment with my own beliefs.
Yeah.
I consider Running Club to be growth focused because if you're not, in my opinion, you're not growing, you're dying. And growing doesn't necessarily mean like your bottom line. It means evolving, changing, learning. So I like it's the app on your phone that can teach you different languages.
Duolingo.
Yes. I think it's fascinating. I think learning language is fascinating because you're not only learning the words that a different culture can use, you ultimately learn about cultural values through it.
Yeah.
Linguistics is fascinating.
Yeah.
So I think that's another brand that I would love to work with at some point.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it
That would be
really
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Really fun. And then just because I'm a huge nerd, I would love to work for Marvel.
Oh my gosh. The dream, right? Oh my God. Imagine your kids in California, Anaheim at the. Then Julian can say, Daddy works for Iron Man.
Yes, that's true. And he would.
And then he would get over the pizza. Or Spider-Man.
Daddy
yeah.
works for Spider-Man. In fact, Isabel made me this bracelet. It says Spider Dad.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes. So Daddy works for Spider-Man.
Oh, that's cool. I think that then they would get over the pizza thing.
Yes.
And that would be definitely cooler,
Acceptable.
probably.
Yeah.
What are some exciting things we can expect from Running Club in 2026? Is there any spoilers we can?
I don't think
can
there.
hear?
I wish I could give you something just for the sake of having news. I hopefully it's just steady as she goes.
You're such a good public speaker, and you do such good events. And when I for example, that breakout session that I was in where you had kind of that presentation about the archetypes. Do you feel like there's a possibility in the future where a Running Club could do kind of a day event where you're teaching about branding?
Yeah, I don't see that as out of the cards. I'm actually having coffee with a friend who is very much in the space of mental health and wellness, but also professional health and wellness. So I think something like that could very well be done and merged. And I really do enjoy supporting people. And I think the hardest part of leaving the state was the fact that I was leaving supporting so many of these businesses, most of which are small.
Yeah.
And so I think there are going to be, like, I have a cup that spiritually needs to be filled, financially needs to be filled as well, but spiritually. So there's certain things that I'm going to do that fill my cup, but may not make as much money just because, of course, I'm a human. I have needs.
100%. As a business owner now, and as a business owner myself, how are you finding it with like the balance? Because especially with the podcast launch and, Reheated Coffee Club and everything, I'm like working crazy hours, 7 days a week. I'm hoping that it'll a little bit level off and I'll have some balance. But are you finding it where you're able to have some balance in your life and a home presence as well?
I have to make that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge for me, so I have terrible ADHD. And so like my brain is constantly going, which is both a benefit and a curse. So what I have to do, and I've taught myself over the last few years, is really to, one, always have either a pad of paper or my phone around and like just talking notes into it instead of having to do the work. Also, when my kids are pulling me away, there are times when I specifically will stop what I'm doing and walk away. And it's hard for me to do that. My physiological reaction is to get angry.
Right.
So being able to like stop, not get angry,
Right.
transit, like get to a good pause point and then move into family mode.
Right. Do you work from home?
I do. It's really difficult.
It's really difficult.
I don't even have a door on the room where my office is, which we are looking at changing.
Yeah, my door doesn't have a lock, so it's basically like not having a door.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yes. So
It's fun times.
Yeah, I think that those balances are things that we have to create our boundaries.
Yeah.
Both professional and personal.
Do you make time for date night?
Not as much as we'd like.
Yeah.
We get there.
Prioritize it.
Yes. What's your favorite date night spot in Connecticut?
So if there's like an escape room or like a game night, I don't know, just like experiencing things together. So we've thankfully with Reheated Coffee Club, we've gotten to do like a lot of really cool things.
I'm sure.
We did a walking clue tour that took us all around Torrington where we had to figure out clues together.
I've heard about this. Was it fun?
It was very fun. And also I figured it out. So I was like a little confused like during it. And then when it came down to like grind time, he gave his guess and I gave mine and mine was correct. So like I said before we started recording, I'm like an avid murder mystery reader and I like get frustrated if I can figure it out before the book's over. I'm like, I want a good twist.
What'd you think of the Knives Out series?
I liked some of them. I didn't read the books. Are they books or
I don't know.
I've only seen the movies, yeah. So I don't even know if they're books, but I didn't see the third one.
I haven't yet either, but I've heard it's excellent.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite is that a character in the second one, the Glass Onion, is the governor of Connecticut, Catherine Hahn.
That's awesome. That's a good little tidbit. Okay, so let's get back to a couple more questions, and then we're going to do a little fun speed round, which we're going to do like rapid fire, which is great for your ADHD brain. Okay, so now that you're working for yourself, you really could theoretically live anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
I would hope not.
Yeah,
but,
no.
But why Connecticut now? You're not working for the state of Connecticut.
Because this is our home. We have fallen in love with it. And I will say that one of the reasons why I think we were successful in what we did at the state is because whenever I was going out and saying how great Connecticut is to live, work, and visit, I wasn't bullshitting.
Right.
I was talking from the heart. If I was BSing and it wouldn't be authentic, people would pick up on that.
Exactly.
We adore it. Lived in New York, lived in the D.C. area. My wife has lived, in the Boston area. Like we've, spent significant amount of time in Maine. We wouldn't want to call anywhere else home because we have great schools, safe communities. We've built more of a common community here than anywhere else we've lived. Mm-hmm. We feel like we belong.
Yeah. It is an extremely welcoming place.
Yes, it is.
I was in a meeting the other day that the person I was talking to was saying, like, I moved here and within a few weeks I was getting invited to like VIP events and like all these things. And, you know, he was saying, like, do you feel like that would have happened if you moved to another city? And I was like, I don't think so, because I feel like Connecticut has had such a bad reputation for so long that when someone comes in excited about Connecticut, everyone's like, oh, you want to see what we got? Come to this, come into this house, come into this event. Like, you like it here? Let me show you. Like, they welcome you with open arms because they're so thrilled that you want the perception to be positive. And so it's really easy to be welcomed into the community here.
I see that, yeah. It's like the greatest story never told.
Right.
Just because it didn't in previously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
So people are
didn't really
excited
get
that
there.
people want to tell the story now. Yeah. Who do you think would thrive here that wouldn't necessarily thrive in New York City or Boston?
I think people who are working their tails off in one of these other big cities, but they're just struggling to gain traction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is something to say about being a big fish in a small pond. I think it's a really unique place because of how small and tight-knit things are. You get opportunities you wouldn't necessarily get otherwise.
That's true. And maybe people that are feeling like lonely. I hear that New York City people feel really lonely there.
Yeah, well, because despite the fact that there are 8 million other people around,
Right.
everybody is so in their own world, in
Right.
their own lanes, that it doesn't quite have that same sense of belonging.
Right. Like I said, I think it's really easy to find your community here.
Yeah.
Or easier. I think that anything can be difficult if you're not
Correct.
looking,
Yeah.
if you're not trying.
I mean, that's not me crapping on New York.
I love New York. I love Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm living in New York for
here
10
more.
plus years. What's that?
I said I just love here more.
Exactly. There are certain aspects of Connecticut, I think, that are so much better for our lives now.
Yeah. Especially raising a family. I would have loved to live in New York City when I was a young lass. I missed my time.
You would have gotten in a lot of trouble.
I did get in a lot of trouble, and I didn't even live in New York City. I just visited. What kind of businesses do you think actually do better here than in those bigger cities?
I don't think that's something I've ever thought of. Probably businesses that require service-based businesses. I think that's the easiest answer, because service-based businesses are people-oriented as opposed to selling a product or a widget, something that just comes off of a shelf and somebody uses it and you don't think of the humanity behind it because of the connectivity that we've been talking about.
Right.
Service-based businesses will do well here.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. And maybe stuff with like children too, because I feel like a lot of families are moving
Yes.
to Connecticut because of the school systems.
We have had population growth over the last 5 years, which, prior decade before that, it just wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So
West Hartford, especially where I moved, is like keeps popping up on like all these like listicles for like places for families to move to. And like,
yeah, the greater Hartford area, I think, was the fastest, either fastest growing or number one volume selling community in the country.
Yeah. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. So now that you are a business owner off on your own, like we've been talking about, you're also a dad. How has your definition of like making it changed? Like, is it like monetarily? Is it necessarily a title?
I think going from public service to now the private sector, yes, money. Money is a huge part of it.
Money talks.
Well, money talks, and most people equate their value to money. I think for me, going to public service, where the pay is notoriously lower than private sector, that's a huge part of it. Having 2 young kids and needing to put them through school, college. Thinking about retirement, money is important.
Sure.
So
especially in a state where things are expensive. I mean, in a country where things are very expensive right now. It's not just
I think that's
Connecticut.
that's not just a country. I think that's across the globe.
Right.
We're in this post-pandemic world, which is the new order is just entirely different.
Yeah.
So it's I think there's some shift in that.
It's true.
The other thing that I'm defining as making it is because I'm not doing as much that is so focused on the public good. for me to make it is how much am I contributing in a meaningful way to something bigger? Not just my family and not just my business, but am I doing things that are good for other people and other organizations? So.
Yeah. So we're going to move into a little round that I'm going to do every episode called Connecticut Unfiltered Speed Round.
I'm excited.
So
hold on. Let me get into my
all right, yeah. We're going to try to just do like 1 or 2 words.
Yes.
We're not going to think about it too much. You're just going to spit out the first thing that comes to you, okay? So I'm going to just throw it out there. A place that you think is overrated here.
Sally's Pizza.
A place that you think is underrated.
Chester.
Favorite coastal town?
In Connecticut or anywhere?
This is all Connecticut based.
Okay. Mystic.
New Haven or Hartford?
New Haven for the culture, Hartford for the grit.
All right. Best pizza. Can be a Beats, but doesn't have to be.
In the state?
Yeah. Just the first one that comes to mind. Doesn't have to be like just like in this moment.
Zephyr, West Hartford.
I knew you were going to say that.
Why?
Just because I feel like I've seen you with Zephyr a lot.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. A Connecticut stereotype that's completely true.
Connecticut cool. Do you know what that is?
No.
Connecticut cool is kind of like that standoffish aspect that people think is like snobby.
Okay.
But it's not snobby at all. It's just like it's almost a little bit introspective and quiet.
Okay.
And it just takes a little bit of like peeling back the layers. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually like one of the most warm, welcoming human beings I've ever met.
Okay. So like Michael Pollock.
Yes. We were standing outside of Sally's. I was doing a TV hit, and he whips around the corner onto Worcester Street, parks his car, double parked in front of a frickin' fire hydrant, grabs this varsity jacket out of the back of his car, runs into Sally's, runs back out. And I'm like, hold on, excuse me, who are you and what are you doing and what was that jacket? And he starts to explain himself. I'm like, that is incredible. You're doing all this work around pizza. Funny you say that. Showed him this picture on my phone. We're putting up this highway sign next week. And I showed him the Pizza Capital highway sign. And the rest is history.
I met him the same night I met you. I was like, all I wanted to do was make him laugh. If I could make him laugh, my night was complete because he was so stoic.
Did you make him
laugh?
laugh?
And I made him laugh. And then I was like, okay, the rest was history. Good. A thing that Connecticut has too many of.
Red light cameras.
If Connecticut was a cocktail.
Old fashioned.
Best date night spot.
Probably West Hartford Center, just because it's where we've been a bunch of times.
Yeah, there's really good spots in West Hartford Center. Blueback.
You're going to get to ask me those questions, and I don't get to ask you questions back?
You want to ask me a speed round?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. You just got some you're going to rattle off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yankees or Red Sox?
Red Sox.
Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Dunkin'.
Tacos or pizza?
Tacos.
Florida or Connecticut?
Connecticut.
Okay, that's enough.
All right. I do love pizza, but
I get it.
I could eat tacos every day.
No, you're fine. Yeah, well, it's fair. That's fair. Taco pizza.
But I will say, I was introduced to Zanelli's on the pizza tour, and that changed my life. And those 3 brothers.
Like the nicest people.
I visited them on my actual birthday when one of my best friends was in town in Florida, and they like took care of me. I didn't even expect anything. I just we walked in and they were just like singing to me, bringing me pies. They took care of like the bill. They were so sweet. Like they just like made my whole night. They're like the nicest people.
Love that.
All right, finish this sentence. Connecticut is the right place for people who
want to make an impact.
I love that. You
can define it however you want, whether it's social, financial, community.
I agree. People
family.
Here care.
Mm-hmm.
People here care, and people here are proud of where they are and proud of what they're doing and want to make a difference. And then with every episode, I want my guests to give a shout out to a local nonprofit that you care about, and then let the listeners know how they can get involved if they want to.
Okay. So there's 2. We've been talking an awful lot about food.
Okay.
So there's two places that I think probably most people know is one of them, and the other one up and coming that folks should get to know.
Okay.
First is Connecticut Food Share.
Yep.
Connecticut Food Share is a network of food banks around the state that whether people are hungry, whether they, you're on, like, for example, when SNAP benefits were on pause during the government shutdown, Connecticut Food Share did God's work. We actually used our network of content creators around the state to help get the word out. So folks can take a look at their website, ctfoodshare.org, and help out there, whether it's, they actually prefer monetary donations over food because they can leverage their dollars significantly greater financially than anybody else can. I believe it's for every dollar that you contribute, at something like 3 meals that they can give out.
Yeah, it's something they can your dollar goes a lot farther than if you were to go to a grocery store and just like buy with your own dollar, because they can get it in mass quantities.
Exactly. And the other one is Feeding Families Foundation. Feeding Families Foundation works in Connecticut hospitals, so Yale New Haven Health, Children's Hospital, and CCMC, Connecticut Children's Hospital right here, specifically focus on feeding parents who have children in the hospital. So, most people don't think of this. When your kid is sick in the hospital for days and days and days, you're not going to want to leave their side to go get food. And when they bring up food for the child, they don't bring up food for you.
Right.
So what Feeding Families Foundation does is they bring in meals, whether it's pizzas, tacos, whatever it might be. There's local restaurants that contribute, but they also contribute financially, so that way the nurses and the parents can buy their own meals.
Yeah. There's so many amazing nonprofits in Connecticut. And so many people are doing such incredible work. So I think it's important, to use our platforms to share and amplify these voices and help get the word out, because sometimes people get overwhelmed and don't know how to get involved. So thank you so much, Anthony, for being my first guest on Connecticut Unfiltered.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the chance to get to tell my story and hear a little bit more about yours, and then also, talking about love languages, acts of service, acts of giving. Yeah, this is fun.
And best of luck with Running Club. I know you're going to be wildly successful, and you're a powerhouse.
You're too kind. I appreciate that.
This podcast is kept caffeinated by Sola Karaoke, The Happy Confection, Pink Tractor Crew, and Keating Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to Connecticut Unfiltered. If you like the conversation, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share, and keep the conversation going about how we can make Connecticut more than just the drive-through state.